For him, it was fogginess. He's always been a very sharp guy and able to communicate his thoughts well. Hasn't always had the greatest personal memory. He's not one that we've heard. But then it just started to feel like there would be a little less communication. It was just a little more fuzzy, or we'd have to remind him of something that we had told him not long ago, or we would have to, oh no, remember we're staying in this place. This is where we're staying. Just like little things like that that would have never before been something. He would use the line, so what's the plan again? He was never too worried about the plan, but now he became very hyper needing to know what the plan was. I think I found excuses for it, or I would find reasons. That's, oh no, we hadn't really filled him in on so of course he doesn't remember what this part of it is. Like finding things like that of somehow it was on us of what we hadn't done, or he hadn't paid attention because he had a long day at work, or there was always rationalizations around it. And now it feels more like, oh, we were all just trying to kick the can down the road a little bit of maybe this might actually be a problem. I think the first diagnosis wasn't so devastating until I started to learn more about it. And then I was like, oh God, this is horrible. And then we've had the climbing back out of the bog of that, of just being, okay, this is a process. It's not an overnight decline, but at least it felt like we were making our way towards some understanding of what's going on in the process for us by us doing this, us giving ourselves the personal tools, the interpersonal tools, not just professional tools, which is the medication or whatever, but now our interpersonal tools of what we can do to try and help him. So that's been really helpful.
Let's go back there to that moment, because I know that others watching this will experience the same and see themselves in your story.
But it felt like for someone who, my dad has always valued his intellect and his professional and intellectual accomplishments, to know that that is never going to be the same for him is really hard to know that for him. But then you also get into the layers of all the other aspects of him that are so important, everything about him that we know and love that will change as a result, because the brain just is at the core of all of it. So it just feels very helpless, which it is, but it doesn't have to feel like that way all the time. I think a lot of what it's looked like for me is recognizing that the course is there to be used at my disposal. And so I took the pressure off myself, take what I can from it, which is we are early on with what this is going to look like. And so I'm taking each kind of lesson, each opportunity, each interaction that I have with now both my parents. What do I have in my tool belt to use right now? And knowing that if I ever feel like I don't have enough, then I'm like, okay, I still have a couple modules left to do. But also I have the opportunity to go back and look at some of the modules that maybe now will start to be needed more. I can't control necessarily how he might respond or they might respond, but I can control what the empathy, the judgment, the part of version of my day that I bring into the interaction. I can control those things. I love a good mini checklist of this is a good way to handle something. First do this, then do this, anything like that, or just opportunities to be like, which of these are you, or which of these are you prone to doing? Some of the scenarios that we would watch, they're helpful in just recognizing behaviors that I don't necessarily pick up on all of that stuff, but I'm usually pretty astute about behavior and things like that. It is still helpful to see someone coached through adjusting it, so that it's not just me feeling like I only have to be coaching myself through adjusting something. So those were helpful too. It's reminded me that so much of it in how the attitude or expectation, I should say, that I go into an interaction with, that if I'm looking to be frustrated, I'll probably get frustrated. If I'm looking for a fight, then there will be a fight waiting for me. But if I'm just looking for, okay, what is the thing I can help with right now? And how can we make this not me trying to tell them what to do, but how do we make it feel like a group conversation or a decision? Then that's the way to do it. We have to just do little baby projects. And that's all that anybody can handle in the dynamic. Today is our tech day, and we're going to get dad set up with this and this. And next time we see each other, I'm going to have him double check the finances and figure out if there's any other monthly expenses I should add to the spreadsheet. It's like just trying to focus and not solve everything at once. Yeah.
How did you find the coaching calls, the being part of a community?
Not only hear about other people's story, but it was also really helpful or nice to feel like maybe our experience is somehow helping someone else. So that feeling of, okay, I'm not the only people in this, even though when you're in it, it feels pretty isolating because it is tricky. But it has just been nice to feel the mini community amidst the team. Start to get to know everybody's story and feel excited when anybody's had a good week and empathize if they've had a bad one. So that's been helpful. I didn't quite know how I would feel about that or what that would look like, really. It was all very new in that way, but it's been really helpful.
What is the biggest transformation in yourself that you're finding?
Because there's still plenty of uncertainty and we don't know, but I can't live in that place. I can have the knowledge and the understanding of where we are and what this really will mean, but I can enjoy where we are right now. And I can do both things. My brain can handle both things. I would love to be able to have more information on what that means, but I at least am choosing that I can't live in the scared place about it as much as that pops up sometimes. But that's not where I'm living with it, because I'm still, when I go over to their house and clean snow or whatever, they come over for dinner and we're just having a nice time together. It's still going to be these mini normal hangs, and some of them big, some of them whatever. It'll be all the things in between, but at least we still have a lot of potential good time between us that I'm trying to hold on to that and live there with the knowledge of what
would you say to those people?
I think people tend to think like, and just Google it. I'll figure out what to do this way. Google's always going to, at some point, you're going to end up with the worst case scenario on Google. And that's silly. When it seems like giving you pretty much trying to put us in the driver's seat in a scenario that we don't necessarily have control, but then this way we can at least be shaping and shifting certain aspects of it. Control in an otherwise out of control situation is invaluable. It's the only way to try and make the best out of a situation that nobody has any control over how long it'll take or what it'll look like, but at least to try and feel in control of some aspect of it is really, there is a price on it, but it's something that you're just lucky to get if you have a professional who knows what she's talking about, as well as other people going through it. It's like this tandem setup that gives you a little bit of both. So you're not just being talked at, but you're also being like, you're hearing how it's going for other people. It's seeing how it's going and learning at the same time. It's a helpful cycle. Where we started with it and where I am now feels like worlds apart, and it's not that long ago, just a couple months ago. It feels it's just a better place to be in with it. And it's ironic. We have even less information than we did then, but at least to feel like I know what I should and could be doing right now. So that really helps.